here we go.
And there we went. Real funny. Because, like, you know, Heath Ledger's, we'll say, call to arms in The Dark Knight, which is a comic book character. Hey, gang, that reminds me. We haven't talked about comic books in a while, huh?
Yeah, comics, because we spit hot. Oh, I can't even go into it because last time, yeah.
Y'all should have been here for that one.
I got a blue screen for spitting that hot fire. The wires couldn't take it.
Dylon has to sit back.
Age is timeless when your verse stays submersed in the fountain of youth.
So, you know,
submersed.
Dylon, you might have to take a back seat for this one. We know you spit hot fire, but we trying to cool out. Yep. Daddy-o.
That's how we clap at poetry clubs.
That's right. Poetry slam, baby.
White people do this.
Black people do that.
Yeah. So, yeah, on the subject of comics, Breeze Lou, what you reading on these days?
Well, what I'm reading. She's a super freak. I'm reading Mr. Miracle by Tom King. I forget the artist's name, which I should.
She's a very thinking girl. Sorry, you just got me the big James.
Mr. Miracle. That's Scott Free, right?
Scott Free, Mr. Miracle.
That's recent.
Yo, that book is so amazing.
It's
like, me talking
like,
about it is spoilers.
I don't know.
It's a recent iteration.
Are we still doing buy-sell thing?
It's like a recent iteration of a Golden Age character, which you can tell because like his superhero name is Mr. Miracle and his real name is Scott Free. Like, I mean, come on, how baller is that? He's Mr. Miracle, who's an escape artist,
right?
And his real name is Scott Free.
I mean,
as in get away scot free. Like, come on, that creativity,
bucket.
That's what Vince would have done.
Well, you know what?
It was succeeded though.
They made it work.
So it's probably New Japan type stuff.
Because this.
Oh, and another book I was reading too was Nightwing, New World Order. Nightwing, New World Order.
Did the new one come out yet?
Yes. The final issue came out.
Can anyone?
I have to find it.
Can anyone explain to me what this New World Order thing is?
I'm reading it too, but Breeze seemed double excited about it. So.
All right. So what issue you up to now?
Because you don't want to say no spoilers.
The next to last.
All right, so you open it up because you basically open better than I do. So
he just basically asked what the comic book was about.
Oh yeah, so open. Yeah.
From what I've read, it's about a 6-issue series. I think I'm 5 issues deep into it. So it follows Dick Grayson, you know, Nightwing.
Of course.
He was tired of all of the capes. Like he became part of a, let's say like you can call it a police force almost, that was sick of all of the capery that all of the superpower capes have been getting into, and he was part of this program to kind of nullify their powers.
Okay.
So it's like, if we can't control the capes, we may as well just like treat that as an illness and, you know, introduce them to some kind of stuff that would take that off of them. So they're like depowering.
But why would he be part of that though?
Because he got tired of seeing like big hero and villain battles all throughout the city, because it opens up in one of the first issues where you see that Nightwing looks in the city and buildings is destroyed, everything, Superman's in the floor,
the consequences
villains
of all
everywhere.
that.
Yeah, so it's like a lot of collateral damage. So
right.
he activates this machine. It's like, I'm gonna take everybody out.
Right.
And
or at least take the powers out. The powers out.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what he did. You see Superman on the floor with like a pipe sticking
out.
So
only the people with actual powers are the ones.
Yeah, like if you're born with it.
Yeah,
if you're born with it.
This is the DC universe. They call everybody with special gifts metas. And that has been established throughout all of their media.
Right.
Yep. So Superman, like if you're born with powers, you lose it.
Okay.
So,
but only on Earth, right? Obviously, that's
whoever's in the vicinity of the
of the thing. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And like for those that weren't in the vicinity, they kind of like catch you and then they inject it into your body and then or keep you in like a prison cell, more or less,
dampening your powers. Like they caught Dr. Light in one of the issues, and Dr. Light's nephew was pissed, so he was picking on Dick Grayson's son, and we thought that he was just picking on Dick Grayson's son because, you know, his pops locked him up, locked up his uncle. Right. Nah, Dick Grayson's son has powers.
Yep.
So Dick Grayson's like,
he had the son with Starfire.
Oh, what are the powers?
Oh, basically Starfire.
The Starfire's power.
Oh, just the Okay.
The beams and the fighting.
That
just not dressed as, we'll say, promiscuous.
Yeah. I hope not. If it's a son,
it's like G-rated Teen Titans they kind of, they show like the G-rated kind of skin.
Yeah,
if anything,
yeah.
You got the midriff.
Got you.
Kind of, but then like compared to how she's in the comics, she's like a sports illustrated swimsuit model.
Yeah, I figured. It's like
sleeping
Power Girl.
around.
Like Power Girl. They always make a busty.
Power
Girl make a mad busty. I love it.
But the crazy joint is Nightwing teamed up with Cassandra Cain.
Okay.
I mean, no, not Cassandra Cain. What's the name of the Batwoman with the red hair?
I was like Barbara King.
Barbara. It's one of those things, but he teamed up with her, and they basically had like this whole Nightwingist Batman corps, like paramilitary type people, just hunting people, and the guys
hunting the capes and grabbing them up.
Yeah, so the guys is basically saying like Nightwing want to go out and say, "Yo, you're getting too old for this. You can't do this anymore. Like, stay home, man. You got this."
This kind of puts Nightwing's mantle on par with Batman.
Yeah, and the crazy train is, like, the Bruce Wayne mansion is a museum. They found out a secret identity, and they have like it's a tourist attraction.
Oh yeah.
And Alfred is the keeper of the library of all the stuff.
Or you could say the keeper.
So what's Bruce doing now?
He's dead.
Oh, he's dead. He's literally dead though.
Yeah,
who's dead? Who are you talking about? Batman?
Bruce.
Ask him how he died. Ask him how he died.
How he died?
I forgot, man. I forgot because something cool happened in one of the recent issues that made me forget.
How he died.
You forgot?
Yeah, I forgot. No, honestly.
You forgot how Batman died?
Yeah. Oh, wait, no. Superman yoked him up and I beamed him, son. I forgot about it. I'm thinking in my head because like, I read all those Batman
I had to bring it out of him. I know you didn't forget. You showed me.
Yeah. Like, I was reading all the Batman medals, so all the stuff just popped up in my head about how, whatever. But, Superman snatched him up. It was like, just looked into his soul. He penny-stared him. All you see is Batman glowing, and you see his bones.
I want to read this comic book issue.
And it was mentioned in passing too. It's like, oh, Bruce.
But it happened though. Like it happened. Like they show it, or it's just like mentioned.
You get one panel. Like you.
Okay, you get one panel of it. Okay, at least that. Look,
there it is.
Send that to me. Can you send that?
You want that on a shirt?
I want that on a shirt. That's going to be my Facebook profile picture. I put that as my contact picture.
And the end of every argument ever. When you have no frill Superman just done taking orders
right now.
from some mentally disturbed orphan with a whole bunch of money. Hands was put on bodies that way.
That's the way it should be.
Hands was put on bodies that way.
Because if Superman wants to fight Batman,
it
at
is
a realistic level, that's exactly what would happen.
Yes, it would.
No 10-minute. No.
Exactly. No safe word.
Like what happened in the Justice League movie.
Martha.
What happened in the Justice League movie is what would have happened.
It's like,
dude, you bleed?
I mean, Batman.
I heard good stuff.
In that whole thing, and in every other iteration of Batman versus Superman, Batman has time to prepare. But we never really get into until that picture. We never really get to see what Batman would do if he's not ready for Superman.
Yeah.
If Superman is on the aggro, if he's on the offensive, Batman ain't got no chance.
But the crazy joint is
no chance. So hell.
Dick Grayson is
takes over Bruce Wayne Enterprises.
Dick Grayson's like, oh, my son has powers.
Okay,
so he's like, I don't want my son to get captured. I don't want nobody to do anything. So he goes on the run.
Or there's a conflict of interest.
Yup.
So you got like they sent Green Lantern at him. Mr. Freeze looks sick.
He does.
Oh man, like Mr. Freeze shot the Flash with a special freeze with some new special joint, and it slowed down his Speed Force powers.
Oh really?
Yeah.
So wait, if obviously it's a conflict of interest if he's doing that, and then his kid has powers.
Yeah,
exactly.
He went on the run to try to save his kid, keep his kid from it, so he became a fugitive.
Then he met
with his kid.
Yeah, and then the rest of the old Titans.
Yeah, the Titans came back like all grizzled old veterans.
To try to take him down?
No, to save him.
Oh, to save him. Oh,
because they're like, see, we told you, Dick, you should not have backed this from the get-go. We told you this was going to happen. And then Starfire, who left him because he went so ham on this initiative that just not put his son in danger. Starfire is giving him that "I told you so" look, and then Dick is all of a sudden, Okay, he's definitely shouldering that conflict of interest.
Right.
It's like
right.
I started this because I thought it was a good idea, and I still kind of think it's a good idea, but I don't want them to do all of that stuff to my son.
But wait, hold on. It is a conflict of interest.
It is.
It is. But did he start that before he had the kid, or knew
Yeah,
about
before.
the kid? Okay, never mind.
But you know what's the crazy
right.
crazy stuff about it is that his son, he grew up with his father being looked at like a hero.
Right.
So once he find out that the gift he got, like to him, like powers are bad, so the son kept that a secret from Dick the whole time. Because he basically said, "My father's a hero. I don't want to upset him." So he looked at people with powers like as bad guys. So when the Dick's like, "Oh, how long you had this? I had it for you. I had it for forever. I just didn't want to tell you because I didn't want you to hate me." He said, I don't hate you," and that part broke me. And then the son basically talked about Nightwing's mantle, and he just kept talking about him like he's the greatest person in the world. I want to make him happy. So
just give Nightwing his movie.
Yeah, the crazy joint is that after the Titans come and they run and they escape from Mr. Freeze, they bump into like they get cornered by a Joker gang or something like that. They get cornered by some gang and a grizzled old Superman come, start bodying everybody.
Yeah.
Like it's like you never knew Superman could grow facial hair, but the way he looked, he kind of looked how Ryu looked in the Street Fighter V DLC.
Yeah,
he looked like a cross between that and the Alex Ross Captain America when he an old man, kind of like buried.
The story sounds pretty good.
Oh, and Lois Lane is a White Lantern, I believe, or blue.
I think a white.
Yeah, you kind of threw me off for that one. What?
She's a lantern.
Oh, because she had a lot of hope. That's
Lois.
Why.
Yeah,
she had a lot of hope during the situation. So
Lois Lane.
Okay,
that's right. Superman Boo. And she's essentially taken Raven's spot in the Teen Titans.
Yep. And that's his son's like, like, I know that there's a lot of good people, blah, blah, blah. I'm willing to help you.
Though. That's an interesting story.
So that's Starfire looking all paramilitary because she got to get her powers from super armor now.
She like Comic Book 19.
Yeah. Yeah, they get attacked by a gang, and this is OG Superman comes.
Oh man,
that's when the Richard Donner Superman theme plays, but just with that distortion from like a guitar.
Mad Max Superman. Right there.
That's a cool looking Superman though.
I know. If I was a big buff white dude, I'd dress up like this. But the best part about Superman...
I'm going to get that hair when I get in my 40s, dude. Yeah. I'm going to get the gray hair on the side too, man. What?
But you know what's the best part about Superman right here?
What's up?
That they're looking for a cure for all this.
For the superpower thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
But they need a natural born metahuman to make a cure for it.
So wait, when you mean a natural born metahuman, what is it exactly that they want from that metahuman? Like the blood or?
Yeah.
They're trying to find
the gene structure.
They're trying to find something in the gene structure on the blood system to cure the metahumans?
Yeah, to give them their powers back.
To give them the powers back.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I thought you meant to take out the powers.
Oh no, to give it back.
But we already mentioned that earlier that they already did that. Yeah.
But you know what's the crazy joint? Superman got help from somebody. He got an extra hand of help.
Which book is this? It's 5 or 6. Oh, okay, so
and the person helping him is Lex Luthor.
Yup, I remember that part too.
Lex Luthor's helping him find the cure.
Why does Superman look bulky as fuck?
That's a farm boy, man.
That's Superman.
But he look like no, he look like
straight out of Smallville.
Yep.
He look like he been eating some fucking Kryptonian burgers.
He been working out with C.T. Fletcher.
Luck burgers.
Luck burger.
Luck burgers.
Luck burgers and working out with C.T. Fletcher.
Yep.
That sounds like a great story.
And the crazy joint is the next issue gets everything goes south. Everything, because like Dick Grayson, like I don't want to spoil anything, but it's a part in there where Lex Luthor looks at Superman and he's like, I finally did something. Like I did what I always wanted to do. I basically, I got you to say thank you to me. So, I'm your god now, Kryptonian. And Lex Luthor just walks away. And I was like, that's it? He just wanted to basically, his ego was so big that he helped the metahumans get their powers back.
He helped Superman get his powers back.
Just because he basically wanted to say, I'm better than you. I helped you get your powers. You were nothing until I came to help you.
That means a lot to Superman, though.
Yup. And when Lex Luthor did that, Lex Luthor said, I didn't do this for you. I did this for me.
Because that technically means that if I can help you get your powers, I can also fucking take them away, in a sense.
Yeah, but that shit, like his ego boo, I'm like, ooh.
You just like, oh, okay, well, some things stay the same.
Yeah, and that's like the Nightwing New World Order. Great book. Oh,
the story already ended, or it's still
yeah,
on?
it ended on last week. That has to be an animated movie from DC.
I would like to see that because I'm tired of Batman movies.
Yeah. At least have have the beginning of the movie open with Superman killing Batman.
It's like Gotham by Gaslight.
That book was good. Jim Gordon was no joke.
Gotham by Gaslight?
Mm-hmm.
This is my face. This is the face I have when I do not care.
I read that book.
You know what?
Jim Gordon's a monster.
Unless Jim Gordon is the main character in Gotham by Gaslight, I don't care.
Yeah, remember? In the book, he was Jack the Ripper.
Make it Jim Gordon. This is make it Jim Gordon.
Okay.
Gotham. Make it Jim Gordon.
He's Jack the Ripper. He fought Batman.
Gaslight's during the 1800s, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, I remember. That.
He fought Batman hand in hand and outboxed him in the comic.
But still, he's not the main character. Batman is. And I don't care.
Jim Gordon was handcuffed on the burning trolley
booked it different.
and walked into the fire. Batman's like, "Let me help you." He said, "No, I don't need your help," and walked into the fire and burnt himself to death. Jim Gordon is a G.
He's been a G. Before he got the damn red-headed mohawk and decided to be in that mech talking about no more cape-ish in my town.
Yeah, Scott Snyder run after Batman died, quote unquote. He basically had a mohawk, had a
Jimmy
battle
Gordon
mech,
did.
and he had a Batman Beyond looking suit.
And he was all, no more capes.
Yep, and then he was shooting people with a bat gun. Oh, Bruce, Jim Gordon.
Jim Gordon, excuse me.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
It was a good story when he was saying the whole no more capes joint, and he had a beef with his daughter, and found out that was his daughter. She found out that was the father.
So they let him find out.
Yeah, and that's when he basically said, "I don't think this no more cape thing is good."
No more cape, Barbara.
Wait, isn't she fine though? Because she don't got superpowers.
This New 52.
She's still a cape though.
Yeah, she's still a hero running
She's
around.
still
the
a
city.
vigilante.
So they're just going after superheroes, like people like.
This vigilantes, people who think that they're outside the law.
Yeah.
Because of the whole We Are Robin's book, that was a good story.
Mm-hmm.
But
I did like it.
you know what happens. Like, you have a positive book about, black, Spanish, and Asian kids, and that joint is canceled, but you have like a bunch of SJWs write something, they want to let it go on for 2 years. America Chavez.
I stopped reading that after 3 issues. I'm sorry.
Oh, man.
I tried to ride with it, but it was going nowhere at that point. It was like, because at the same time that America's book was coming out, they also had her in Ultimates, and she was such a boss in Ultimates. She was a badass in Ultimates. She stared Galactus dead in the face and was like, "Look, Papa, some stuff was going on with the planet Earth, and now that you're the life giver, we need your help." Galactus was like, "That ain't on my pay grade, little girl." So your money's not strong enough to get the. He basically said your money's not strong enough to bring up, we'll say, pique the interest of Galactus to help you with your little regular human problems.
We got other stuff coming, bigger.
Then American Chavez is like, "Word, it's like that." I don't want to say that the hood came out of America Chavez when she got dissed by Galactus,
but the Vato came out.
Exactly.
Now, what the crazy joint is,
she's like, "Screw you, puto." We just go like whatever. Say, "Hey, I ain't gotta ask you but the one time, puto." Like, we just if we can only count on ourselves, we gonna count on ourselves. And she went back into that fight.
Chico.
And she went back to that fight, and she rapped. But she has her own solo book, and she's among the weakest freaking characters in her story.
So Galactus giving me a pork chop, puerco.
How is she the weakest character in her own story?
the funny thing is, in the beginning of one of her issues, she's in a group fight with the Avengers. She gets upset because someone doesn't do something she wants. Go back in time just to punch Hitler because she felt like it. They come back and the battle's already won.
Pass.
And I was like, pass. The chick runs away from her problems. This is what you encouraging.
I got bored of it. Just want her Hitler because Hitler is so overrated now.
Yeah, it's like, oh, but no, it's
I used to watch it when it was cool.
It's SJWs. Punching Nazis is what's up right now.
But punching Nazis was like in the 1940s was cool, but that's obviously way more relevant at that time.
Yeah, but you gotta punch Nazis, alright? They got tiki torches and flannel shirts.
Nazis is old, man.
You would have replaced us!
The only Nazis I'll consider is like Vandal Savage or something like that.
Vandal Savage ain't a Nazi.
But to me, I consider him a Nazi. I consider him a time-traveling Nazi.
No, he's working with the good guys in metal to stop the Dark Universe.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
so there you go.
Oh.
Hey, no, Nazi.
Lepers can change their spots. But then I put down the America Chavez book, and let's see, what was I picking up around that time? I just wanted to not read that book anymore. But we already know Dan Slott Spidey books were on the money. He fleshes out so many different aspects of not necessarily Spider-Man, but people that are in Spidey's universe. He found a way to bring back Norman Osborn that makes him more deadlier than ever. He is no longer just that one Halloween freak who's flying around on a goblin glider. There's a lot more to the nuances of Norman Osborn. To wit, as pretty much means case in point for those of y'all who don't read.
There's just no English language.
The King's English. Yeah, shut up. Britain won. The Revolutionary War in my time on it. Brexit? Nah. But either way, the most recent Spidey book that came out has Norman Osborn teasing a union with the Carnage symbiote. So now you got the Green Goblin, or you got the person who was the Green Goblin. And before they did the whole Jekyll and Hyde thing, when the Green Goblin was introduced, and even in the movies and stuff like that, they have it so that the two personas are separate. This time, they've doubled down on the fact that Norman Osborn is very cognizant of his powers as the Green Goblin, and he just accepts it. He's not even the Green Goblin anymore. He's Norman freaking Osborn. And he had
squad.
And he has some people break into this highly secured SHIELD facility, despite the fact that SHIELD is no more, but they still got little splinter groups still fighting a good fight and keeping everything that SHIELD Prime had on storage in check. I mean, not that well, since he got goons to go in and break out the Carnage freaking symbiote.
Right.
So they're teasing that Norman Osborn is gonna come after Spidey with the Carnage symbiote.
The Red Goblin.
The Red Goblin.
This is going to be the hottest of the hot
Carnage
fire.
Goblin.
But it's a good thing about why I like Dan Slott, because
he read books.
The Quesada era and stuff like that. I don't know what was up with Joe Quesada, but if it came out in the 90s, he didn't like it. He just tried to kill everything off in the 90s. So they literally gave Eddie Brock cancer and gave the symbiote to Matt Gargan. Before Matt Gargan, it went to a mafia kid. Mm-hmm. So he literally was trying to kill Eddie Brock off. So
question to y'all, right? Do you feel that a comic book writer, one of the attributes to deliver a good story is consistency from the previous story that's been going on before he came in and started writing?
Absolutely.
Yes. If you could take something from if you could take something from the past and make it better and make it match with yours, like Jeff Johns. I praise Jeff Johns' Green Lantern run.
Because it did exactly that, among other things. I'm saying.
Like Jeff Johns, the stuff he does for the Green Lantern is just.
Because I know sometimes certain comic book writers when they take the mantle to write for that comic, is sometimes they completely erase what happened before it. Like
America Chavez,
New 52.
yeah, you know what I'm saying. So it's like I feel like it could work out, but just depending maybe on the writer. Most of the time, it doesn't work out because people want consistency. They want consistency. They want that canon consistency.
Gabby Rivera.
Well, yeah. I don't.
Seema Grace.
I don't want to get into
He wrote Iceman, and they ruined the character of Iceman.
Is that the gay Iceman?
Yes.
Well, both of them are gay now, because you had the time split original 5 X-Men. They had some story sometime back where we'll say present day Beast went back into the past,
right? Gotcha.
And recruited
to fetch them.
And recruited the old school 5. Like Jean Grey was Marvel Girl at that point.
Yeah.
You know, Angel still had the wings, and everybody had the blue and yellow.
Yeah.
And mind you, that storyline didn't make sense. That storyline didn't make sense because last I checked, it was Brian Michael Bendis wrote that. And why the hell are you gonna get Beast to go back in time to get the original X-Men to talk some sense to old Cyclops, who already is mutants are being executed and killed by humans. We were at our lowest of lows during the Civil War and stuff like that. I'm 100% with Magneto.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to survive.
It's like survival of the fittest. Evolve or fucking get killed.
Yeah.
So like, what young Scott Summers gonna tell old Scott Summers?
Yeah. He hasn't experienced nothing old Scott Summers has.
Yeah, it's like Scott Summers saw a lot of people die that he cared about by humans by doing it the way Professor Xavier was doing.
Right.
That's why I always loved that cover with Scott Summers wearing Magneto's clothing.
Because it just shows a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot of symbolism behind it.
Yep. And then what happened? Brian Michael Bendis does the Bendis. The same thing he's going to do to Batman and Superman. And why I'm not going to read any Batman and Superman books, he touch it. Because Batman, like Tom King, Scott Snyder, leave them with Batman and Superman. Not even that. Like recently in the DC book, they released an origin story for Clayface, and that's the most depressing book I've read in my life.
I feel like a lot of Batman villains are depressing.
Well,
their origins are.
But the Clayface one was just really bad. Like
does it deviate?
Ja Rule happened. I cried, you cried, we cried together. Little Mo was right next to me.
So compared to what a lot of people would consider to be his Batman the Animated Series introduction, because like they gave him the whole thing, you know, he's a failed actor, or he was an actor who was getting old and wanted to get that Regenix or whatever, the face cream to stay young.
Yeah.
And then he got in too deep with the mob, and they just like dumped it all over him, and he became Clayface. That was the animated series origin. Yeah. Where does the comic book?
I believe he got into a car accident because he was like a great actor, cocky. He was like one of those Tom Cruise type guys, and I'm scrolling through it here. He was with his homegirl.
So he was in love with Katie Holmes too.
Yeah. He got into a car accident. Boom. Woke up. Tom Cruise, Vanilla Sky.
But either way, he was still worried about his image.
Yep. And then he remembered.
Dang.
Exactly.
Mo broke.
Exactly.
Mo dirty broke.
Medic! Car accident and everything.
Exactly. He was talking on the cell phone and driving at the same time. He had it coming. But I digress.
Benny Cumberbatch had that too, but for whatever reason, we'll get into Benny Cumberbatch and Doctor Strange later.
So he remembers that his father used to use this for makeup effects.
Renew, just like it's like they call it in the animated series.
Yep.
I think,
and that's why I like it. They have callbacks to the show. So he was using this and put it on his face, but just a small portion to fix his ugly face. He came back like, oh, I thought he was in an accident. He's like, oh, I'm good. I look better than I ever did. And this story is good. They keep going to it. He ran out of renews. So he went to the point where he just tried to break into the place and steal it. Then Batman comes and stop him, punches him in the face, and sees that, you know, he like, oh man.
Yeah, he sees real face.
Like, you ugly.
Yeah. Then he wakes up in the hospital, and then his girl gives him the newspaper, and his girl's like, yo, I don't want you to be near me anymore. You're a monster, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, Batman ruined my life.
I swear vengeance against Batman.
Oh, bro. Yep. So he went to the factory. He went to the warehouse, whatever, to steal more of it. Then one of the security guards shoot it, and it all pours on him. And
okay.
That's when you get this sad story.
And he becomes Mortar.
Yeah.
Mortar.
You know, like Mortar in the shape.
Yep. Like, it was a good story. Like, the way that they write in the books now in DC, they care about the characters. They're using a lot of callbacks to certain things.
So that whole Iceman thing, that's the whole SJW movement thing that you were talking about before?
I mean, yes. With them making his homosexuality being more important than him actually being a mutant that has defeated Magneto and Apocalypse and all of the other big bads that the X-Men had to assemble against. Yeah. I mean, what else can you say? Like,
I mean, I see what you mean, because I see that a lot more predominantly.
Yeah, it's like they literally he basically banged one dude, and he basically cared more about that dude than his friend's funeral.
Like after their their Red Shoe Diaries encounter, he's all gearing up to move to the West Coast with this dude. Until Dakin, Wolverine's son, just guts him like a damn trout right in front of him.
Grace. And that dude was crying, putting like, oh, we're going to start a GoFundMe. Like, they canceled the book before the first trade could come out.
I mean, I don't mind the character being gay. It's just
the story.
I do mind, not just the story. It's just the way you promote the character. Like, if you're promoting a character that every single thing that he's doing is in relation to him being gay, then you're trying to push something onto me that just doesn't.
They're
it's
forcing
just
an
stupid.
agenda.
Yeah,
and
you know
then
what
we
I'm saying?
don't buy it.
Yeah, and it's not because I have something against gay people, it's just because it doesn't matter. Like when you sold me Cyclops, when you sold me Wolverine, when you sold me all these characters, it wasn't because of their sexual orientation. It was because of the struggle that who they were as a person, not because of their sexual orientation. It was just whatever struggle they're going through. You know, the mutants. It wasn't because, like, I mean, sexual orientation could fall into that genre where the mutants, like, they feel neglected, they feel like hated amongst. But it's not the overall core message of it. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, anybody can feel neglected. Black people, you know, gays, Jews, you know, like Spanish people, anybody who's not the majority race.
And the crazy thing is, like, you had going into black people, you had Captain America as Sam Wilson as Captain America, and that hurt the character of Sam Wilson a lot. Like that joint, like it lowered his stock because people was like, "Yo, his books suck." And like, you know, just he was already a good character as Falcon. He was an established character. You could basically make the mantle, the name of Falcon
being
bigger than Cap.
Yeah.
Then just making him Cap. You just basically just threw him away and turned him into another persona.
He had to take over what was previously a white man's gimmick.
Exactly. And then you got Ronnie Barnes jumped on a book. He's a great writer.
No
one's buying the books because of the heat that the Captain America book gave that character.
Well, I will tell you this. In many ways, you can technically say that I am buying the book. And I'm reading the Falcon book. And they definitely address, like, this, especially this recent issue, definitely addresses a lot of the stuff that y'all are talking about right now. Like, the book starts off with him and his new sidekick, Patriot. He decided the Patriot kid, the kid who is now the Patriot, decided to take arms towards the end of, you know, Hydra Cap and Secret Empire and all this other stuff. Mm-hmm. And now that stuff is over. They got him trying to, like, I guess, right wrongs in different areas. But for whatever reason, they go to Chicago. Mm-hmm. This big gang war is about to happen. And Sam Wilson was like, I can't have my people, like, you know, apparently, Disney and, you know, Marvel feel like, you know, only black people are in gangs and only black people kill each other. And
even though white people started gangs, but okay.
So, like,
but that's what we do.
So you got rival gangs in Chicago that are about to have this big ass brawl. So then Sam, he's like, hold on, I can't have my people. And I don't know if it's, he says my people, I don't know if it's like a black thing or just America thing. But either way, he's just like, you know what? I just finished this Hydra Cap stuff. Too many people died already. Mm-hmm. That's enough for this. It's time to start, you know, trying to squash some beef, you know? So he goes and he tries to organize his parlay. One of the gang leaders is actually working with Blackheart. And, like, that was a weird direction to take it.
Crossover.
I'm like,
because he was black.
It's like this went from a turf war to some supernatural stuff
shit.
Going on. And I'm like, now how is Sam Wilson gonna get out of this?
It's like demonic shit.
It is. And
stuff.
Demonic.
You gotta do a lot of editing, brother.
And then he goes through. He tries to organize the parlay and stuff like that. And then the one gang leader that Blackheart has his claws into deep orders people get killed. Like, he organizes, like, this massacre. And then Sam Wilson, he's about to go in and fly up on the dude who called the massacre. Finds out Blackheart is involved. Blackheart takes his soul out and drags him to hell. So now, Sam Wilson is in hell dealing with, like, going back to what y'all was saying, like, the callbacks. And Sam Wilson's past, like, they had the father, who apparently they made it a point that Sam Wilson he emulated and he wanted to idolize and make him be proud of him. Same thing with Captain America. He idolized Steve Rogers, wanted to be proud of him, and the whole Hydra Cap thing comes together full circle. There was his nephew that had AIDS that he never went to go see, and he was really guilty about it. So all of this stuff he felt guilty about, it culminated into Sam Wilson being in his own personal hell because he felt like he lost his own identity. So a lot of the stuff that y'all's touching on, Rodney Barnes peeped it and put it on wax. He put it on paper, and I think he did a bang up job of it. Mm-hmm. And like at the same time, everybody else is just like, you know, you got to help out. We got to do something to try to help out Sam. And while Sam Wilson's in hell, the Two-Gun Kid, of all people, from like the Kid Colt comics, like the old Western comic. The Two-Gun Kid is in hell. And they give you this whole interesting perspective of hell. Like Two-Gun Kid was like, well, you know, when it comes down to it, it don't matter what you think is good or bad. It matter what the scoreboard's saying. Not put too many people down to be anywhere else. You should have seen Kid Colt when he was down here. He was not too happy. You know, that kind of stuff. And it was like a really interesting perspective. This interesting direction. It's like writers being creative, taking old established characters, well, semi-established characters, because, you know, Sam Wilson has never been more than just a sidekick, and taking them in a whole new direction. And everything worked out. They enlisted Damian Hellstrom to drag him out of hell. Now that he's back on an earthly plane, Sam Wilson is about to give Blackheart these hands. And I'm interested in seeing how Rodney Barnes carries that on. Yeah, so, it's like...
Not bad.
I was not expecting that turn.
Like,
so, there are people out there making mountains out of molehills.
Yeah,
like,
and that's like...
You say you can't polish a turd? Rodney Barnes is doing his damn bit.
But that's the thing that sucks about it is that all the heat from the previous story with him is hurting that. Rodney Barnes is doing his thing.
He is.
And Kevin Grievous recently got on Cyborg recently and was killing it. Then they just canceled the book.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Kevin Grievous was a good writer, man.
Mm-hmm.
He made me care. He made me care more about Cyborg. I haven't cared this much about Cyborg since watching him take on Brother Blood and Teen Titans. Like,
oh yeah. And like,
I took it back with that one.
Like since hearing him go booyah, like outside of that, not even in the Justice League movie did I care this much about Cyborg.
Well, and then, like, you know, I'm not gonna get into the stuff that we already know about, like the metal. Wait for that thing to end. But it's a good book. But, you know, I'm not going to get into stuff like that. Like, there's a lot of books out right now that people should be reading. And I don't want to get too much into detail about the Miracle Man. Because Mr. Miracle, I'm good. Because Mr. Miracle is amazing. You have to read it. That story is a spoiler itself. Doomsday Clock. Explaining it spoils itself.
Mm-hmm. Doomsday Clock is... I like it.
Yeah, it's good.
I mean, I was expecting to like it, but I like it a lot more than, you know, than I was previously expecting.
Mm-hmm.
They doing a great job with that book, man.
Rorschach is black.
Is that SJW stuff?
No, I don't know.
No, remember the little kid from the Watchmen books, the one that kept reading the book about the pirate in the beginning, Reggie.
Yeah.
He's Rorschach.
Oh,
so that is a callback to something.
Yep.
Okay.
Because he was there. Like, I hated when people were saying that. Oh, they're just doing that to blah blah blah. I was like, no, he was there already. Who do you think was gonna be the fat dude at the newsstand? And like the time that passed, like Reggie found a note and ended up being being loving Rorschach. What you think was gonna happen?
And then, like the first time those worlds collided, like the Watchmen universe and the DC universe, the first time those worlds collided, you got Rorschach going to Wayne Manor, eating Bruce's breakfast.
Hey, it's pancakes.
Then he wanders down into the Batcave, and then Batman just shows up. You ate my pancakes. I sure did.
My favorite thing.
Lex Luthor that got shot by a comedian.
Yep. The crazy joint is Ozymandias and Reggie. They basically was on the computers. Like, these are the two most influential people in the city.
Would they look for the smartest people?
Yeah, smartest. That's the influence. They said the smartest. He's like, listen, you go to Bruce, I'll go to Lex Luthor.
Mm-hmm. And they clown Batman because like Ozymandias was like, I'm going after the smart one. You go after Batman.
Yep. And then, like, the funny thing is, Ozymandias explained his plan to Lex Luthor. He said, and you call yourself the smartest man from the universe, and you do a plan like that? Well, it worked for a couple of years. And then while they talking, like, Lex Luthor's like, I'm just going to entertain this before I throw you out or have you killed.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, blah, blah, blah. They say, pat, pat. And you see comedians like, oh, yeah, last time you got me, I was drunk. You took advantage of me. Now it's over. And then the third issue, they got into a fight, and the comedian was giving it to him. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, the comedian was giving it to him. And Lex Luthor's still on the floor,
just bleeding out. Lex Luthor was reduced to Yamcha Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah. He's like, yo, I don't know, but this dude that look like Jeffrey D. Morgan is beating up everybody. He's shooting at us. But that thing is, I like that. That book.
And who's that clown? Who's that clown chick with the mime?
They're two characters from the Watchmen universe. I think they just made up for this.
Well, they're going after the Joker. So
yep.
And the clown Prince of Crime is gonna have to.
Because the mime, he got the thing where he makes anything he touches turn invisible.
So he had an invisible gun, and there's like in this bar where the Joker, like where the Joker gang or whatever congregates, and they're laughing at him. Oh, look, he's pointing his finger at you.
You see the dude just. I'm like, oh!
And then that one chick, she's a ninja with the piano
the
wire,
the rope, whatever.
The karate. She come out, slicing people up, and then like they made known that they worked for the Joker. And at the end, after all the bloodshed, she's like, we ought to go and pay this Joker fella a visit. So I'm like, I kind of want to see, because like with every different story that involves the Joker, you get a different version of the Joker.
Yeah.
I want to see what version of the Joker they're about to encounter.
Mm-hmm.
This takes place a couple of years after Batman Metal.
What, Doomsday Clock?
Yeah. That's like comedians like taking the lights out, huh? Okay. We'll get to the.
And they do like the little flashback of when Ozzy threw comedian out the window.
Yeah, that was so.
It is, cool. And he's like, "Oh, you had to know I was gonna tag you back on that one."
Oh, you didn't know? See, Reggie Rorschach. Batman locked him in Arkham though at the end.
Yup. I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna get you. So I'm gonna get you. You cape some gun.
I was like, oh, why not chill, Reggie? Chill. Or there's a guy. He's like. You for real, douchebag?
And he's holding the gun.
Lick.
You know, maybe I'll carve a smile on the face and and you see nothing but peach cobbler coming out that back.
That dude's like, holy Jesus! Y'all man, he looked like the dude from Warriors and the Commando.
The what?
The dude from Warriors, the Commando. You know how Sully, you know how I said I'll kill you last? Yeah, I lied.
Oh, yeah.
But this dude is mad cool. Mr. Mime here. I like this dude.
It's probably going to be him and the Joker smiling while she talks with Harley or something.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Doomsday Clock is definitely... They're not rushing into stuff. They're definitely taking their time with the blending of both universes.
And this is what Marvel should be doing.
But Marvel doesn't have another universe to connect with.
Yes, they do. They have a lot of stuff to connect with.
Like what?
All the worlds they did, like Ultimates, they had a good thing with that, with the Spider-Man.
Well, they
the
killed
Spider-Man
that
story, and they ruined
the
that.
first Spider-Man was hot. The second one, not so much. Because, you know, your kryptonite, Bendis, touched it.
Yep.
And I was amped on finding out what main continuity Miles Morales is up to. Mm-hmm. They made him some dude who pined for some girl that died. Like, they turned him into, like, not necessarily a tragic hero, but he was a villain that wanted something more. Like, he wanted to explore the different dimensions just to get back to the girl that he had lost in that universe.
He did it for a girl.
All that ruthlessness, all that cutthroat, whatever, and all that mishigas was just to get back with some girl who would not have remembered him. Because it would have been the girl in a different freaking universe.
Yep.
Yeah.
A girl.
Yeah.
A girl.
Like Miles Morales could have been a lot more. And I don't just mean like the 616 palette swap that they met in Spider-Man 2. I mean Miles Morales in general. Like, they could have written something better for the kid. He saved the damn universe with a moldy cheeseburger he had in his pocket.
And then you got Dan Slott doing the Spider-Verse, which was amazing. But then you got all this other stuff coming out.
So good. I want a Spider UK book. He made a Spider-Man from
Hobie
India
Brown.
seem legit.
Hobie Brown.
Hobie Brown is the punk rock Spidey? Dude,
Yep.
I want to see that universe.
And then you had
He brought Spider
Japanese.
Ham. He brought Spider Ham back
He
in
brought
a reasonable way.
He brought
Other
the
peop-
Henshin, the Japanese
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
With the robot?
Yup.
Yup. Made him canon.
And he came out.
Although he did murk out Captain Universe, he had Solace drink him dry.
Oh yeah. Crazy joint is.
But the fact is, he brought Captain Universe back. Like, I have those single issues, not in a trade. I have that single issue where Spider-Man turns into Captain Universe at home. You know how much that shit meant to me to read about him in 2015?
But Joe Quesada and all these other people tried to kill them off. They killed the relationship between Mary J. and Peter Parker off.
Why?
Because they thought that it was getting boring for Peter Parker to grow up.
That's alright though, because you got, I can't remember the name of the book. But there's a book where not only are they still together, but they have a daughter. And she's in a superhero
Renew Your
biz.
Vows.
Yeah.
That's a good book.
You know, when they were doing the Secret Wars tie-in, Dan Slott wrote the OGs.
Yeah,
Where they beat Regent.
that was good.
Beat Regent with a
And
damn
Chip
joke.
Zdarsky's doing a good job on the Spectacular Spider-Man book. Chip Zdarsky, like, he could take the mantle after Dan Slott. Chip Zdarsky's a beast. He's the one doing the conversation between J. Jonah Jameson and Spider-Man, I think, right?
That book was heavy.
That's Chip Zdarsky. Sex
book was
Criminals,
heavy.
the artist and writer of Sex Criminals, that dude is a man. He earned that. He earned that title. Like, that dude's a good writer. Because all I care about is good stories.
Right.
It doesn't necessarily have to be art, because the art is kind of distracting in the Mr. Miracle book, but the Mr. Miracle book is good.
Story-wise.
Like, you have to read that book. Like, I don't care. Like, the last issue that came out, they was just going through Orion's base, destroying everything, and they just talking about, oh, we need to get rid of the living room, make a third room. Why? Oh, for more space. We got a lot of space. Well, we need to make a third room. Like, why don't we get rid of your room? He said, I want to keep the living room. I grew up I had to sleep in a small box. I like having space. I grew up in a small box. I had to escape from small places all the time.
Scot-free.
And she's like, so what do you supposedly do? I'll sleep in the room with you. We can use our other room for, like, a guest room and stuff like that. I said, no, we need another room. So they fighting people, and they're destroying two guards, and then out of nowhere, she's like, I'm pregnant. All right, so we'll cut the living room in half then.
Is that Barda?
Yeah. Barda's like, I'm pregnant. He's like, oh, we'll cut the living room in half. And I was like, like, this is the... And Tom King, I preached that dude too much already, so I'm not going to talk about his good run on Batman, but that double date with Superman and Batman.
You showed me that book. That was an entertaining story.
So what's like the best stories y'all read so far?
On the one that I mentioned.
The ones you mentioned? Like,
Yeah.
so far?
But Image and on the Independence, there's a lot of good books too, and I don't. That's another episode itself.
That seems to be the case with everything. The indies got the stuff. Like, I mean, you'll talk about the mainstream stuff, but the indie stuff has the stuff you probably should be.
Like the publisher own stuff, but like IDW, Dark Horse, and stuff, they're starting to do it on Marvel. And like,
they lived long enough to see themselves become the villain.
Yep, like they hired.
Because I remember IDW and Dark Horse for the
Dark Horse was shit for a while.
Shoot, I'm 35. They were around since I was.
No, Dark Horse, they got an extended universe with aliens and predators. And Prometheus.
Really?
Yeah, called Fire and Stone. Son, that shit is amazing. Like the engineers, like it was a predator called Ahab. He went to that planet to hunt the engineers. But the way that they did the books, it all started off like the first story arc is Prometheus. So you basically got like a bunch of people going to the new planet, and they're like, oh, there's xenomorphs here. We gotta kill the xenomorphs. Blah blah blah.
Right.
And then that's when they meet the engineer, and the engineer is basically breeding xenomorphs there. So the group of scientists is like, oh, wow, blah blah blah, this and that. So you literally have a crew of people, and the way it ends is plot holes everywhere.
Okay.
When I first read that 2
Plot
years
holes
ago,
on purpose though, or
on purpose.
Okay.
But before I didn't know what they were doing. So they went at first. It was that, and then like you had like a certain character, like one of the soldiers there.
Yeah.
He's like, this is crazy. I don't want to do any of this. So he left everybody. He literally took a ship, went up to the base, and left everybody on the planet stranded. And you don't know what happens to him. And then it's another, like the android. The android had a human friend that basically is like, listen, this black liquid. you should take the black liquid. You're my friend. And the android's telling his friend, like, I don't want to do that. He's like, trust me. Just do it.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. So he basically, the android popped the black liquid in him and then started mutating into a xenomorph android hybrid.
What?
Yeah, and then
an android xenomorph hybrid.
Yeah.
What? What the fuck does that look like?
Amazing. And Ariel Olivetti did it. The guy that drew on Space Ghost.
Ooh, Ariel Olivetti.
Woo!
You seen his run on Punisher?
Yes, of course. The symbiote. Ooh.
That and when Cap died and he went over to Mexico, whatever it was, and he had the Cap.
Yeah. He fought the
Cap
hate manga.
Castle. Ariel Olivetti. That's a boss, boy. That's a boss.
Yeah, he fought the hate manga, I believe.
His artist, like, I like Ariel Olivetti's art, and I'm speaking from like watching him, seeing him draw the Punisher, because his art is clean.
Yeah.
Whereas Goran Parlov's is the good kind of dirty.
That's the hybrid?
No, that's the engineer versus the predator, Ahab.
Oh, okay.
But it's funny, the soldier I was mentioning.
They let Ariel draw the cover?
Oh no, that's somebody else. I forgot
I
the
was about
artist's
to
name.
say.
But the other books these books are good, man. It's like the hybrid. He basically, like, humans are all scum. Mm-hmm. So he basically started mind controlling xenomorphs. And he basically said, I'm going to kill every human I see. Because that's it. I just don't want no humans to be alive right now. So long story short, like, it goes into that. It goes into Prometheus. Then it goes to Alien versus Predator. Where that soldier meets Ahab, the predator. And Ahab starts butchering everybody. And the soldier and Ahab is stranded on the planet. And Ahab's like, I'm not going to kill you. I'm not hunting you. We could work together. So Ahab handcuffed himself to the human and used them like as leverage as a scout. Mm-hmm. So he won't be ambushed and stuff like that. So they fight the engineer.
Right.
And then it gets into versus Prometheus, Alien versus Predator. Then Aliens. And then Aliens takes back like the people that the soldier left stranded there. You see what they've been doing for the whole time, and then like they're stuck in a cave, and the girl's like, "You're scum. You should not be here. You left us here to die." And then the predator like basically is just like keeping all the like because the whole planet got converted because of the black liquid. So it's like these xenomorph mixed things everywhere. So the predator's just killing stuff for them and bringing food, and they trying to find a way off the planet. Yeah, and then the last one is basically just the end of everything.
Oh wow, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, that thing is amazing.
That's crazy.
But then you got Aubrey Sutterson, and he's basically ruining G.I. Joe. That's another episode there, but that Fire and Stone.
We're gonna mention like two or three different episodes we could do in the last 10 minutes.
Like one of the books we'll say series of books or books that are involving specific characters that I've been reading recently that have actually grown on me for a bit, The Inhumans. And that means something because they tried a live action show, and the live action show was just 2 tons of booty.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh man. Woo!
So then
I just got triggered just now.
So it's like towards the end of Secret Empire, they're trying to do something to, like, you know, Hydra Kappa's trying to do something to keep the Inhumans out of the equation. That's the human you were talking about?
No, that's the engineer beating up a predator. Like manhandling the predator.
He had it coming. The
predator's just like doing like sneaky tactics to fight the engineer.
But either way, like during Secret Empire, you had like the Inhumans royal family, aka the most popular Inhumans. You know, your Gorgon, your Black Bolt, your Medusa. Not so much Karnak. He stayed behind and helped out with Daisy Johnson and like the secret Inhumans or whatever. And what the hell was Black Bolt's brother's name? Maximus. That's
the Mad.
So some stuff happened, and they're about to send Maximus the Mad over to some space prison, but Maximus pulled the okie doke and made it so that Black Bolt gets sent to the prison.
So he dressed up like him?
Probably, or he could have just like because Maximus he has like the powers of suggestion.
Okay, yeah.
It's like telepathy, but they don't call it telepathy.
So you can like manipulate what you see or something, maybe.
Yeah.
Like what, like.
Yeah, he can influence your perception, and stuff like that. Which they may as well just call it telepathy because that's all it is.
It's called Inception.
So he made everybody believe that they were sending him out into space, but they were sending Black Bolt out into space. So Black Bolt's out into the space prison where no Inhuman has ever gotten back before, and for whatever reason, Carl Creel, aka Absorbing Man, he's up there with him. and they do this whole prison break thing where Absorbing Man has to sacrifice himself to make sure that everybody else in that small group gets free. And I was not expecting that story to be so deep. Like, the fact that Absorbing Man died so that Black Bolt and everybody else can get free weighs heavily on Black Bolt. It's like Black Bolt was like, that's my homie, man. He's sitting there, he's got survivor's guilt like a son of a gun. It's like, I could have did more. I should have done more.
Oh, wow.
It's like Carl Creel did not have to die. And then they go to Titania, who married Absorbing Man, and he has to tell her that her husband ain't coming home. And then they end up having a funeral procession for him. The rest of the Wrecking Crew shows up. Thor shows up to pay his respects to Absorbing Man. I'm like, yo, when did Absorbing Man gets to be so big in the Marvel Universe?
That's interesting.
And I'm reading it, I'm like, yo, they making me sad that Absorbing Man died,
you know?
Yeah. And then, the rest of the Inhumans, they find out that Maximus tricked them and they sent Black Bolt off to, die.
Yeah.
Whereas their ship gets rerouted and they're going to eventually meet up with the Progenitors, who are the people who created the Kree. Like, the Kree created the Inhumans. So now the Inhumans are essentially meeting up with their grandparents.
Yeah.
And the Progenitors, they're just like, you don't need to be here. We're going to destroy you. Like, they're just looking just like clean house, wipe your hands with everything. And it's like the grandparents of the Terrigen crystals, I forget what they call it, but they find some of that. And during this whole time, Medusa's dying. Her hair does not do the hair thing. Her hair's falling out. She is sick, and she's going to die. They never explain why she's going to die. You just know that her time is coming. Yeah. Yep. And in her hour of need, Black Bolt's not there, but Gorgon is. They knock boots. Do Gorgon and Medusa, like the royal family, getting on.
They have sex.
Brothers and sisters.
That's like old school way of saying it.
Well, hey, you got incest in fucking Game of Thrones and you were excited about it.
Not really.
Still, it happened. Hey, either way, it happened. But so like, there's that whole kind of thing, and then Medusa and everybody else leaves Gorgon on this planet with the Progenitors, because like the Progenitors are going to attack at something, and then Gorgon is like, go, everybody else go, I'll draw their fire. Eventually it gets to a point where on this almost astral kind of plane, Medusa and Black Bolt meet up after all this time, and they come to terms with what has transpired with them during that whole time. It's like, we ain't the royal family no more. Medusa started to talk about her feelings for Gorgon, and he's all like, but did you love him? And she was like, well, yeah, I guess so. Like, we've been through so much, and blah 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 blah. And Black Bolt's like, but do you love me? And she was like, well, I miss you. And like, you like, it's like a marriage that happened by circumstance, and they're coming to terms. They're coming to terms with it. And then there's like this statue, like a broken statue of Absorbing Man, and then Black Bolt is like, man, again, that guilt hits him again. And for whatever reason, it's like, man, they're really trying to humanize the Inhumans. It's like, for so long, ever since Kirby put them to paper, they made the Inhumans seem like this untouchable group of people. This is like a whole team of John Cena's. You know what I'm talking about? And I was like, Black Bolt comes by,
the whole team of Superman,
and his powers come from his mouth. Like, he speaks and mountains crumble, and they put him in situations where he actually gets to speak. And I don't know if it's like, I'll call it the Silent Bob syndrome. It's like where you have like people who don't normally talk, getting them to talk and emote and stuff like that. And you really get to see what they're feeling as opposed to just trying to take someone else's word for it. But man, I'm like, yo, these books are kind of big. These books are kind of heavy. It's like they're hitting at an emotional level, kind of. Like, they're definitely coming at it with a different mindset than they would have done with an Inhumans book from long ago. It's like, man, these Inhumans have grown up. And still, though, my favorite Inhuman is Karnak. but he's not even an Inhuman. Like, they rewrote his history that when his brother took the Terrigen Mist and turned into some fish monster, his parents are like, oh, Karnak, you are not going through Terrigenesis. You are not doing that. Here, study this.
My man cut a bullet in half with his fingers, son.
And he learned how to do that from hardcore meditation and just learning about the weak spots and shit.
Yep.
And that, like, he got his powers from hard work. You know what I'm talking about? Hard work and studying.
Hard times, baby.
That's right. He's the attitude era, big boss man of the Inhumans.
Right.
And they started having him rock that hoodie with the wife beater.
Yep. Oh.
The hoodie with the wife beater and the wrist tape.
Yeah, we hit the hour mark.
Warren Ellis, you have reinvigorated my interest in Karnak. They need to bring you back to do another miniseries.
We hit the hour mark talking about comic books. Who would have thought?
Man, you kidding me? And that's not even enough. We just scratched the surface. This ain't even our final form. Ladies and jelly spoons.
I just did the animated. What? Big ass eyes.
You got to close us out.
Huh?
Close us out.
That's right.
I got to close. How you close out? All right.
By telling us what you learned about comics.
What I learned about comics. What I learned about comics is what I already knew about comics is bad comics, is good comics, is good stories, is bad stories, is good characters, is bad characters. You gotta learn how to differentiate what's good and bad according to your taste. From what I heard tonight, my favorite so far has been a Nightwing story.
Oh yeah, the New World Order.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
that was pretty good.
Yes, it is.
Look at me, Batman. Do you cook?
You will.
That sounds really good. But if I had to close it out statement, I guess I have to make it a bit more personal. I know there's this whole idea where this like SJW movement in comic books is happening.
Marvel.
Where IDW.
where they're changing characters, they're changing stories, not because of said race or said sexual orientation or said religious belief or whatever the case may be, but because they're doing it because they just feel they have to because according to the times. And I don't agree with it either, but I for the hardcore fans that are kind of like losing faith in it, don't lose faith. Keep at it.
There's still some good stuff out there.
There's still good stuff out there.
Even DC, Tom King, baby,
like,
Jeff Johns. Sorry,
it's not all bad.
Even if you feel like you need to only strictly read Marvel, I would advise against that because just don't. Like, it's definitely
Secret Warriors got canceled for a reason.
Although they did give, I definitely enjoyed the role that they started to give Karnak, but we'll get into that another day. I gotta talk about Karnak forever. But like, there's some good stuff to read in Marvel and DC. There's some bad stuff to read in Marvel and DC.
Yeah.
The writing team over at The Flash and Wonder Woman, get back on track, man. Get back on track.
Like,
I can say. I ride with them for a minute, like how they had Iris kill Eobard Thawne in the 25th century. That was hot. Then just right on that for a little bit. Let's right on that, and you had like
Godspeed. Woo.
Let's say Carrot Top. Godspeed was hot, and you have Carrot Top Wally West.
Come back like, yo, you know I'm faster than you.
But then, like, he's still coming to terms with the fact that people may or may not remember who he is, and he tried to reintroduce himself to Magenta. Magenta was like, oh, like, he jarred back one bit of memory. Oh, I remember your ass. You ruined my life. And she started. And then you got Wonder Woman. In the beginning, they had the whole thing where they're kind of like jumping between stories.
Yeah, like you gotta.
Don't do that again. Pick a story and just follow it.
You know you got a brother, right? Yeah. Go find your brother. That was the beginning of it.
Your brother Jason, who was named after the Argonauts and was raised by one of the Argonauts that served with the original Jason, which was a little bit confusing for a minute. Because I'm like, they introduced his name like Jason. I'm like, Jason, like, and the Argonauts Jason?
Yeah.
And then they said no, he's named after him. I'm like, well, that's less interesting. But not by much. But
it was cool. He basically got the same powers as Tempest.
And then you had Tommy Pickles' Darkseid. He ate DC's Hercules.
He ate Zeus.
Oh man, that was a fight.
Yo,
that was a fight.
Guys, Zeus versus Hercules, one of the best fights of 2017.
Who? Zeus versus who?
I mean, Zeus versus Darkseid.
Okay, see.
Yeah.
That other stuff is B-roll. We live now.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a hot fight. And then Diana was like, I want to help him. And you waited too long to help. And Darkseid's a full-grown adult in that whole thing right now. And then,
But you know what's crazy? Darkseid killed Zeus. When Justice League came, I ain't ready for this. Like, he saw Superman.
I was supposed to be closing out.
and then Wonder Woman was like, "Why I showed up? I was about to give him these hands."
Yo, we close out like a team. That's how teams do. So give the final word.
I can't. My final word was that. My final word was like, don't lose faith, man. There's good stuff out there.
You got another stuff too.
We just showed y'all that there's more stuff to read.
That was my outro. That was my outro, man.
Yo, we proved that your outro holds merit.
Yeah.
We validated your outro.
That's what I'm saying.
Word.
Thank us.
That's what I'm saying.
Because we spit hot fire.
Bo, 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 bo.